The Galactic Council chamber shimmered with cold brilliance, its crystalline walls reflecting the starlight of 1,000 systems. Representatives of countless species filled the circular hall, their whispers echoing like wind across glass. The air trembled with tension. At the center stood the human envoy, unarmed, calm, and resolute. His presence alone drew wary glances from the gathered delegates. For decades, the humans had been both admired and feared. They had risen from a single world of storms and struggle to become one of the most capable and unpredictable members of the galactic community. Their technology advanced quickly, their will unbroken by hardship. Many civilizations saw in them a dangerous spark, the same relentless drive that had once led them to overcome every extinction threat on their homeworld. Now that spark stood on trial. The Council accused humanity of violating interstellar trade restrictions and conducting military expansion without approval. The Envoy, a diplomat chosen for his calm nature and deep understanding of alien customs, had come to defend his people with reason and patience. When he spoke, his voice was measured but powerful. Humanity does not seek conquest. We only wish to secure our borders and protect our colonies from piracy. Every species here knows the threat that lurks beyond the rim. We asked for cooperation, not condemnation. The counselors muttered among themselves. Some believed him. Others feared that the humans were already preparing for war. The chairman, a towering being of translucent skin and glowing eyes, struck the platform with a staff of authority. Enough. The council will deliberate. The deliberation lasted only an hour. When the verdict was read, the chamber fell into silence. By the authority of the Galactic Council, the human envoy is hereby sentenced to death for crimes against interstellar stability, sentenced to be carried out immediately. The envoy did not plead. He simply looked up at the council, his eyes unwavering. You think this will end with my silence? It won't. Moments later, a pulse of light ended his life. The chamber remained still, yet an unspoken dread filled the air. Every delegate felt it, some primal instinct whispering that something irreversible had just begun. Back on Earth, the signal arrived 12 minutes later. The transmission was short, encrypted, and unambiguous. It contained no plea for negotiation, no call for restraint, only the confirmed biometric signature of the envoy's death. The response was instantaneous. In the darkened command halls of Earth's Defense Directorate, red lights flickered to life. From the icy moons of Jupiter to the hidden shipyards orbiting Neptune, entire fleets began to awaken. Commanders spoke in low voices, eyes cold and focused. The order they received was clear, transmitted under the highest priority code, Extermination Protocol Omega. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for peace, but had built their strength for war. Their weapons had never been paraded nor shared, hidden instead behind the facade of diplomacy. They had studied every member of the Galactic Council, memorized the coordinates of their home systems, their military routes, their weak points, and now, all of it would be used. The first strike came from the void near the Veil Nebula. A single human dreadnought, silent and unmarked, emerged from stealth. It launched a payload that disappeared into subspace, bypassing detection grids. Minutes later, 3 council fleets vanished, disintegrated in a flash that left no debris. The shockwave rippled across the galaxy's communication network and panic followed. Council systems scrambled for answers. Messages flooded every frequency. Who attacked? What happened? The humans remained silent. Then came the second wave. Swarms of autonomous war machines appeared in orbit around council colonies. They didn't issue warnings or demands. They simply began their work. They dismantled orbital stations with surgical precision, targeted only military structures, leaving civilian habitats untouched, but terrified. The message was clear. Humanity could destroy, but chose restraint for now. The council convened again, this time in fear. The chairman's voice quivered. They will not stop. They will not negotiate. We must appeal to them before he could finish, a projection flickered into existence above the central platform. It was a human transmission, the first since the execution. A female officer appeared, her uniform black as night, the insignia of Earth gleaming on her shoulder. Her expression was unreadable. This message is for the Galactic Council, she said. You executed our envoy. You ended the last thread of diplomacy between Earth and the stars. Now you face the consequence of your choice. Humanity does not seek your extinction. but we will ensure you never threaten us again. The transmission ended with coordinates, dozens of them, marking systems that were already under human siege. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some demanded surrender. Others called for total mobilization. Yet deep down they all knew the truth. They were too late. Across the galaxy, the legend of human vengeance spread faster than any fleet. Entire species abandoned their posts, fleeing from sectors rumored to be marked by Earth. Council military leaders attempted counterattacks, but every assault was anticipated, intercepted, and dismantled with unnerving precision. Humanity's strategies were beyond comprehension. When the first Council world fell, there was no bombardment. Instead, the skies darkened as human ships blocked the sun, and artificial satellites flooded the planet's networks with a single message: this world is under human quarantine. Evacuate immediately. Resistance will not be tolerated. The inhabitants complied. They had seen what happened to those who resisted. Their fleets erased without trace, their leaders silenced before they could even plead. Meanwhile, on Earth, the mood was not triumphant. It was grim, resolute. The leaders of the United Earth Command gathered in silence around a holographic map of the galaxy. Each glowing red marker represented a council world now under human control. None spoke of victory. They spoke only of balance, of ensuring no species would ever again hold power over humankind through arrogance or fear. Months passed. The once mighty Galactic Council fractured into fragments. Some member species surrendered completely, offering technology and resources for mercy. Others retreated into isolation, their systems cut off from interstellar travel. And still humanity advanced, not with conquest, but with precision. Every system they occupied, they rebuilt. They established order, restored power grids, and set laws forbidding the exploitation of weaker species. The message spread through the surviving colonies. The humans were not conquerors, they were enforcers. They did not seek revenge for pride. They sought justice for betrayal. The surviving council leaders sent desperate envoys to Earth. They pleaded for negotiation, for forgiveness, for peace, but the humans refused to answer. Every attempt at communication was met with silence. Then one day a transmission finally came through. The same officer who had delivered the first warning appeared again. Her eyes were calm, her words deliberate. The council chose violence when it executed our envoy. We chose consequence. The extermination protocol will continue until the last world complicit in that act has been neutralized. This is not cruelty. This is correction. Her image vanished and the message repeated across every galactic relay. The tone was not one of anger, but of certainty. Humanity had become the judgment of the stars. Years later, the ruins of the Galactic Council chamber remained as a memorial. The crystalline walls that once reflected light now stood cracked and silent. No delegates met there anymore. Only the hum of forgotten machinery filled the space. On a distant observation platform orbiting the remains of that world, 2 alien scholars studied the records. They should have listened, one said quietly. The humans warned them many times, but the council believed them to be soft. They mistook patience for weakness, the other nodded. They do not conquer for glory. They strike when betrayed. That is what makes them terrifying. Far beyond, Earth continued its silent watch. Human fleets no longer roamed in anger, but in vigilance. They had redrawn the map of the galaxy, not as rulers, but as guardians of their own destiny. The extermination protocol had ended, not with annihilation, but with silence. Those who had executed the envoy were gone. Those who remained had learned. And so in the quiet void where the Galactic Council once ruled, a new order emerged, an order built not on fear, but on the memory of what humanity had done when pushed beyond forgiveness. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy knew peace. But beneath that peace, every world remembered one unspoken truth, one that would echo for generations. Humanity does not start wars. They end them.